Is Andy Muschietti leaving Batman? I don't know, but let's speculate anyway. So here we are at Comic Book News. This is an image from the only good Batman regular comic book available now, which is Batman and Robin. Especially when this artist does it. Anyway, back to the article. Okay, here's the summary. That'll make it easy. Andy and Barbara Muschietti are launching a new horror label called Nocturna. Man, why can't I say it? Nocturna. Not Nocturna. Jeez. I was going to make the joke. Isn't that a Batman villain or this lady Nocturna? See, I'm not even thinking about it, I can say it. Nocturna will focus on producing 2 high-quality genre films per year for global audiences. Andy Muschietti has not yet committed to his next feature, including the Batman movie, The Brave and the Bold. So, where do we have that? Down here. So, I guess this is from the Hollywood Reporter. It says, while they are developing a Batman movie called The Brave and the Bold at DC Studios, the dynamic duo have not yet committed to their next feature. Now, do you read that as their next feature would be The Brave and the Bold? Or they have multiple projects that they could consider and haven't committed to anything? Or is it that there was another project to do and this one is already in the works? So what other project would they do? It also brings to, there's nothing in here about Andy directing any of the projects they got in the works. Well, you don't want to see that in your refrigerator. For their new company. So already in the works from the label includes They Will Kill You, written by Kill. Is it Kirill or Kirill? Sokolov and Alex Litvak. With Sokolov, who wrote and directed the 2019 black action comedy Why Don't You Just Die, attached to direct. So this guy will be directing it. And that's the deal. So it's Andy Muschietti and I guess his wife as well are just the bigwig executive producers for this function. And I'm sure eventually he'll be directing something with it because they came out of horror. They had here, he talks about it. Of course, the It movies. First one's awesome. Well, I can agree with it. It's good. I still preferred the old TV miniseries, but it was pretty good. And I wasn't wowed enough I forgot about the second one. I just never followed up. But, it was good. And then Mama, though, I really liked. And even more so, the short film that inspired it. That thing is creepy. But Mama is one of those horror films that always brings home the idea that I always come to when I'm reviewing horror movies, is that the ultimate horror is sadness. And Mama is a very sad movie. The guy's got skill and talent. But the idea here is, wow, he's doing all this. What about Batman and Robin and Brave and the Bold? Well, one wonders, is he still attached to it? Is that already over? There's a couple of things to consider. The Flash failed. I don't think that was his fault. But I think he was named at the time, when they had to have known. And I mean, that's McCloyne here goes on that he heard people, on Reddit, they're saying that, this is my understanding from speaking with insiders that both Gunn and Muschietti knew the theatrical release of The Flash wouldn't do well, which I believe is because of cuts mandated by Zaslav. The VFX went unfinished, and we all know the ending was changed. Yeah, the third ending. And there was a much bigger plan for the Flash movie than what we saw. I'm guessing Muschietti's reward for throwing himself on the proverbial grenade is directing Brave and the Bold. Hence why they announced it before. Now, sometimes it's like, a lot of this stuff is like, it's not his fault that the movie ended up the way it did. It was just doomed. I mean, all kinds of things beyond his control were just messing with it. And in the end, but a lot of this can happen, and they still just blame it all on the director and throw him under the bus and move on. But if the people inside is like, we know it's not your fault, don't worry, but we're going to give you another shot at Batman for our new endeavor. And so, as it stands, I think that still counts as he's the guy for it. However, with the recent announcement that The Batman 2 is delayed yet again and won't be coming out until late 2026, maybe even get pushed into 2027, that sort of thing, which comes really close, I would think, about the time they're ready to introduce their new Batman. So then you have two Batman competing like that. So is it that, I mean, and then with Matt Reeves, it's like, well, you know, one of his TV projects out of Batverse was taken into the DCU, which was Arkham. And so it's not going to be a part of the Batverse version anymore. Or will it? What if they do what they should have done from the get-go, was merge Matt Reeves' Batman with their new DCU and expand out of it? But that's two clashing visions. The Batman lives in a more grounded, reality-based world, which is what the DCEU was trying to do, and a lot of people rejected it. I didn't, but most people, not most people, but a lot of people did, and they have serious problems with it. But for Batman unto himself, fine. But in a shared universe, in a fantastic world, it's kind of hard to see that established Batman like that. Unless you just said, well, the Flash messed up the multiverse, and then you would have Robert Pattinson show up at the end of the Flash movie. And then suddenly Ezra Miller turns into another actor, and now you're good. But I don't know. It's like, are they, because would they cancel the Batman 2? And there's reasons to think of that possibility, and it would all depend on the numbers of what they really are and what Warner Brothers is willing to gamble on. And the Joker was a no-brainer, but the Batman didn't do as well as the Joker did, oddly enough. And so would Muschietti lose the Batman to Matt Reeves, or would he once again take on a superhero movie where he doesn't get to cast his character? I guess he gets to cast Robin, but he doesn't get to cast Batman if it's got to be Robert Pattinson merged in. For a nice seamless thing, which was impossible due to the circumstances, it's a little late to try to do that now. But it's interesting that these sorts of things pop up, and why is it delayed? I hadn't done the script, and all. Well, why? I just don't know. But the Penguin's performance again is very, very important for the Batman 2, I think. And that show's got to do very, very well, which is hard to do with the streaming model. I don't think works as well as one would have hoped. But then again, with Zaslav being that way, just license it out. Maybe it'll do better on other streaming platforms. More people view it and stuff, and there's more interest in that product, then it pays for itself. And then okay, maybe there is something for the Batman. But yeah, we're going to have to slash that budget, So, could be that. The only other thing remaining is, again, the lateness of it, and that you have two Batmen, which is the kind of thing he seemed to talk about he doesn't want. So, I mean, you can't even have the Superman TV show, which is really good. No, we don't want that competing with our movie Superman. It's like, So, whatever the thinking is, it's an odd bit of motions around here. Just Muschietti starting off a horror company, it makes a lot of sense for him, considering where he came from. That being said, a lot of filmmakers come out of horror movies. It's a really good way to learn the craft and everything. But nevertheless, it makes a lot of sense for him to do that. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to be doing these movies anymore. I know, I'll go do horror with Skydance. And, but, again, he's producing and whatnot when he could be busy with directing Batman as well. So it's interesting. Can speculate and come up with all kinds of scenarios that might not be anywhere near the truth. But, it's just a lot of worrisome things crop up here and there. But don't fret. There's going to be a Batman movie of some sort. I think there will always be a Batman movie. As for the other characters, well, We'll see.